Hey guys, today's video was supposed to be about the Wraith with the VFD from a 410 and the axles from a SCX 10.3, but unfortunately, of course, things just don't happen that way sometimes. I'm short motor and ESC right now to do the upgrade I want to do, which is the brushless set and all of that. I'll also be covering on when, as soon as those parts get in, I'll be covering the shocks I'm using, because I'm not running, it's not exactly an even setup, but it works out pretty well. But for today, as you can hear in the background, I'm running a frickin' 10.3. It's noisy, it's obnoxious, but it's got a 3-gear in it, and it's not the new one. I'll show you what's going on once we get it back to the house. Now you can hear the noise coming from this thing. That is actually the noise from the axles. I know this because I changed the transmission twice to make sure that that noise was not coming from the transmission, because I didn't want to get out here and find out that all of that noise was coming from a bad gear or a bad bearing in the transmission. Now 10.3 was a fairly capable truck, but it wasn't fantastic. It was hard to balance because of the overly complicated, massive transmission that they put in it. But the 3-gear seems to help that. Right now I'm running basically the same. I'm running the portals and the links mostly from the 10.3. The only thing that really changed is I'm running a 3-gear instead of that, I don't know, 47-gear multi-speed with dig and all of that. You don't actually need all of that. It was overly complicated. It's kind of like portals. They're nice to have, but they're not really necessary. And I know that the new SCX 10.3 comes with it's a sort of a 5-gear, but it's a 4-gear, weird freaking transmission. And I have no interest in buying another overly complicated transmission for one of these, because it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be hard to work on. It can be simple. As long as it's working, it's simple. And that's the best part about it. With a 3-gear, you can take it apart, change bearings, whatever you want to do while you're in the field. It doesn't take a whole lot. It's 4 screws and the whole thing comes out in your hand. Plus, if you set up the 3-gear like this one, which is with the motor on the back side instead of the front, like the SCX 10s have it, then you can put a dig system from a Wraith in there. You can put a Wraith transmission with the dig in it. This being a 2.2 Wraith, of course, not the newer ones. But you can put all of that stuff in there and actually make it work. It works just fine. I'm trying this new style of video. I hope you guys don't mind. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know that even more. Mostly because I want to be able to kind of condense these down. The talking on the bench part, I can do all of that with really pictures. You guys already know what I'm going to tell you. And this just makes talking about it, it makes it at least somewhat entertaining. While I'm talking, you can actually watch what's going on. This truck is never going to be competition level, but you can tell from that side that there's almost no hang up on the bottom. The belly clearance is absolutely fantastic. I don't know how you do better than that. It's it's flat. Of course, I am running 80mm shocks front and back. The ones in the front are the Incisions. The ones in the back are the ones from Vanquish that come on the Phoenix. They're all 4 of them are 80 mils. On the other one, I'm running different lengths, but you know, different lengths isn't always bad. Uh-oh, I think there's a hole on the other side. Probably don't want to drive off into that. Maybe I do. Let's see. Oh, nope, didn't want to do that. If you're following somebody on a comp trail with one of these, I mean, you're never going to be able to compete with them. But, you know, it's a lot of fun to drive it and see just how far you can push one that's scale-ish on the trail, just to see how much you can actually do with it. Because these are really old axial Trepador tires. And the wheels are from, oh geez, those are from, oh, RC Noob, that's who that was. I got those from him. They came off of his Sendero many, many years ago. He sent them to me. Said, here, if you can find a use for them, congratulations. So, there they are. All right, now that we're back at home, let's check out the nuts and bolts, and I'll show you sort of what you're going to have to do if you're going to make this modification. Because I really want people to know about this. There's no reason to throw away a perfectly good truck for lack of good transmission. All right, in order to get your 3 gear in there, get the battery out of the way just so we can see. These, like the axial rake, they don't line up. Let's see if we can get a closer look at that. All right, so you can see where the screw holes should be. They line up with the pockets for the links, but the actual holes in the chassis are here and here. Now, the easiest thing to do is to line up this rear hole with this rear hole on this one. Put that in place. While that's holding it in place, you drill out this hole while everything is lined up and flat. You do that on both sides. Then you put a screw in there to hold it in place while you put everything else together. Now on this side, you do have to be careful because your mounting screw is right in that same place for the front of the transmission. So make sure that you don't put a screw in that's so deep that it'll start interfering with the screws that go into your transmission. Because if you do that, then this thing is not going to stay where it's supposed to be. It won't be as strong as it's supposed to be. All right. I think that's about it. You can tell it. I've got everything hidden up underneath there. I got the ESC and the receiver and everything go up behind the motor. I just took the front plate off so you can see what I was doing. That's all. That's all we got. It's a fairly simple modification that'll make it 10 times better. Thanks for watching, guys.